Spiritual formation. Greetings, everyone. This is Dr. Gary, and thank you for giving me a few moments of your time to go on this learning journey of what it means to be formed spiritually. In today's shortcast, we're going to look at relating to God in different ways. So let's look at some biblical examples of variety. First of all, we look at Abraham, the altar builder. When you consider Abraham in the book of Genesis, it says that he met with God and he built an altar. He met with God somewhere else and he built another altar. You don't see anybody else that builds altars in the way that Abraham did. This was just kind of sort of who Abraham was. It was his thing. It's how he memorialized meeting with the Lord. And then David the warrior and Solomon the builder. You go forward to King David, he was God's warrior. He defeated God's enemies. And yet near the end of his life, he decides he wants to build a temple for God. God comes to David and says, David, I don't want you to build my temple. You're my warrior. Nothing wrong with being a warrior. I needed a warrior at this point in my people's history, but I want your son Solomon to build the temple for me. And here is God telling a father, your son will have a very different way of serving me and worshiping me than you did. And so, when Solomon wanted to please God, he didn't do it by attacking enemies. He offered on one occasion 1,000 burnt offerings. And not only did that frustrate God, but it was also so pleasing to God. And that's when he came to Solomon and said, ask me whatever you want, and I will give it to you. Let's look at Mary, the listener. So when you go forward into the New Testament, you have Mary sitting quietly at Jesus' feet, just soaking in his presence. The classic contemplative adoring Jesus. Can you even imagine Jesus looking down at Mary with disdain and said, Mary, why are you looking at me? It's kind of creeping me out. If you really love me, why don't you build one of those altars that Abraham used to build? They were really cool. Or show your courage and attack Israel's armies, or at least offer me a couple of burnt offerings. Solomon offered me 1,000, and you're just sitting here. Well, when we look ahead here, the reality is, in Scripture, we see God receiving different forms of worship in the same way. And so what we want to do is to look at 9 spiritual temperaments, or what is going to be called sacred pathways. Professor Gary Thomas is the one that has done the background research on this, and so we're going to use his material as the foundation for the next several shortcasts. These are developed by going through Scripture, looking at how people have related to God through history, going through the writings of some of the spiritual directors, and just looking at Christians and denominations from all stripes. How is it that people have connected best with God? We're going to look at these 9 different windows through which people see God most clearly. The foundation of Christian spirituality is a regular time of devotion, setting up a life of devotion. So understanding how we best connect with God is very important and a worthwhile exercise. And we're going to spend a number of sessions trying to get this down. Remember, one size does not fit all. So we're going to open up with the help of research from Gary Thomas on spiritual pathways and 9 spiritual temperaments as the foundation for the upcoming shortcast. Well, our time is come and gone on this shortcast, and I thank you for giving me a few moments of your time. Would you be so kind to share this on your social platform and let others know about this opportunity to grow and learn in community of what it means to be formed spiritually? Until we can meet again, we bid you Godspeed. Bye for now.